Okay, we are live. Well, that was fun. I don't know what was going on with my mobile device there. The fact that it did not seem to want to work. So I'm doing it. I was going to say, I guess, the old-fashioned way, but I guess it's not the new-fashioned way. The other fashioned way, which is being back on my laptop. But I got the microphone out. I got the laptop. The webcam looks like it's working. People look like they can see me. So, yeah, we will go from there. Sorry to everybody who tuned in to my, um, to everybody who tuned in to my mobile stream and the fact that it wasn't working. I do apologize, but we are here now. It looks like people can see me okay. So let's give it a bit of time and let's see if anybody can join. As always, we're here chatting about Freemasonry. So any thoughts you have, any comments, positive, negative, or neutral when it comes to Freemasonry, please let me know and I will do my best to try to answer them. Let me know. Again, I always like to ask when I'm doing this stuff, how does this look compared to, let's say, my mobile? Do you find that the camera is better? Do you find that the um, microphone is better? All that good stuff. All those questions. And please, as always, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. The first hour, we're just going to hang out. Today, I may talk about Freemasonry in Germany. That was the plan to talk about it yesterday, but I ended up kind of changing my mind. Or we're talking about a few other things as well, but Freemasonry journey might be interesting. And don't forget, tomorrow we have the Ask Us Anything streams. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. But for now, we're just going to wait and see who can track us down. I may try on my mobile device again as well, because once again, it is very annoying. I'm not sure what happened or why it is that it wasn't working. So we'll try to figure it out. But welcome. Let me just share this stream on a few spots, and let's just wait and see who can track us down. We're just going to give it, as always, a little bit of time. Just waiting for the audience to join. We'll see who can find us. And if anybody wants to once again, chat about Freemasonry. Any thoughts they have, positive, negative, or neutral? I would love to hear them. Tyrone Celliers, welcome. 656SC, is that 656 South Carolina? Welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope that you are doing well. Let me know how it's going. And welcome once again to the Square and Compass podcast, or the Square and Compass live stream, I should say, where once again, every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Eastern-ish, we talk about Freemasonry. I would have, I wish I could have done this stream back on mobile, but for some reason, my mobile phone was being annoying. I may try this later on, actually, at another location and see if I can maybe get it working again. But for now, I'm here. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns about Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them, as well as anything else you guys really want to talk about. The second hour, I'll talk about specific topics. I was thinking this time about talking about Freemasonry, maybe in Germany a little bit. Scottish Constitution. Okay. So when you say that, do you mean Scottish Rite, or do you mean like emulation? Because, emulation ritual, so I'm from Ontario, right, Canada. The way I always understood it is you've got your Preston Webb, or sometimes called York constitutions, which is primarily America. You've got emulation ritual or Scottish Rite ritual, which is, Ontario does that, UGLE. And then there are jurisdictions which are actually Scottish jurisdictions altogether, where even the first three degrees are part of the Scottish Rite. But is 656 your lodge number? Okay. By the way, as always, for everybody watching, I hope you will be so kind as to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going, and let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. Okay, cool. So, Tyrone, how long have you, if you don't mind my asking, how long have you been a Mason for? I've been a Mason since 2007, so almost 20 years, which is crazy to think. It's been that long sometimes. So you got me beat by a few years. But that is really cool. So, where are you? Where are you from? If you don't mind asking, like where might you be a Freemason? That is all that counts. I absolutely agree with that. I've been a Mason myself since. I've actually done some interviews with some brothers from Cape Town, South Africa. Never been there. Would love to go there one day. But yeah, I've done some interviews with Cape Town, South African Freemasons, and talking about Freemasonry in South Africa in general. So that's really, really cool. I'm not sure if you've been on the stream before. If you haven't and it's your first time, I think I recognize your name. So maybe you're one of the people on this morning. But I do hope you will take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. Spirit of Justice, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe buttons. Everybody watching this, how's it going, Spirit? I hope you're doing well. I'm just going to give it a bit of time. Anybody, Freemasonry in South Africa has a really cool history. I've studied a little bit of the history. I'd love to study more of it. Doing good, heading to the gym. That is awesome. I hope that you have a great time at the gym. Being a Freemason, we should care about one thing we should care about is our health and well-being. I'm a firm believer in that. I've talked about that on the stream in the past, right? Part of being a Freemason means caring about our health and our well-being. So that should include going to the gym. So good for you. I hope you have a great time at the gym, and it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. This is kind of a fun stream. Yesterday I did this stream at like 1 in the morning, and it was amazing how many people showed up to chat about Freemasonry. So it makes me think there may be an audience out there at night, but that might also be why my voice is a little bit scratchy today, because I talked all night last night. But welcome, if you're just joining us, thank you for being here. I hope you will hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing, and let me know if you want to chat about Freemasonry. Anything you want to talk about, positive, negative, or neutral when it comes to Freemasonry, please let me know. If you have any Masonic events coming up that you want to talk about, well, that's fine. I mean, whatever it is that brings you to the stream, Power Puff, I just appreciate you being on the stream, and thank you so much for joining. I mean, that's what, a lot of, I think, people on YouTube is, right? It is people being bored and trying to find things to do and things to occupy themselves with. So, hey, I don't mind at all the fact that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you will hit that like and subscribe button. If not just you, anybody watching this, if you're just joining, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing, and if there's anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. I may talk today about Freemasonry in Germany. Just I think that might be an interesting topic to discuss. I do hope, at least in my case, even if you were bored, Powerpuff, at least I'm hoping that you learned some things about Freemasonry you did not otherwise know. Maybe if you have any more questions from yesterday, you can let me know what those are. But let's give it a bit of time. As always, the first hour is just me waiting for the audience to join, and the second hour is when I have my specific topics and start talking about specific ideas or thoughts I have. Interestingly enough, the courts struck down the tariffs in the United States. To my understanding, I can talk a little bit more about that, or Trump's tariffs. The reasons being, I think that may, again, economic matters matter to Freemasonry. Well, I'm happy to keep you occupied in the interim. And I do absolutely hope that everybody is doing well. It's funny how many people came on the stream yesterday at like 1 in the morning. So, maybe I have to do more of those streams. I've got, we actually have some really awesome events happening at the Masonic Temple this weekend. Tonight, there's a show taking place, which I think is going to be pretty awesome. It is 43 Stages of Grieving, a comedy. And that is a theater performance, a play, taking place at the Windsor Masonic Temple Ballroom. Hey, my pops is from England. My pops is a Geordie. Well, not quite, but he lives close. He lived when he was in England. He lived close to Newcastle. So that's a cool little fact. There you go. Yeah, I probably mentioned it yesterday on the stream. Welcome if you are joining. Thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to have everybody joining me again. If my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, it's because I was up very late last night with Powerpuff and with a bunch of other people chatting about Freemasonry till 5 in the morning. So, I got a bit of a hoarse voice, but it was still a lot of fun. Hopefully, Rondo, second time's the charm. I'm not sure what was happening. For some reason, my phone was just not cooperating today when it was cooperating all morning. I mean, he lives in Canada now, but I don't know. I'm sure it's okay. I mean, I live in Windsor, Ontario, and people are always kind of shitting on Windsor or shitting on Detroit, Michigan, or Chicago, which are all places I visit frequently, and I love all those places very much. So I don't know. I'm sure you got to kind of be confident that people are good and that things will work out. I hear a lot of news reports saying things are rough, but honestly, back when I used to visit Chicago and Detroit regularly, I'd always see news reports about how terrible Detroit and Chicago are, and then I would go there and have a great time. So, there's a lot of pretty incredible things about England, I'm sure. I've not been there in ages. I really should go back at some point. It's a shame I don't get there as often as I'd like. But there's also, a ton of really awesome Masonic history in England. Obviously, the formation of the Grand Lodge of England took place at the Goose and Gridiron in 1717, and that was in England. So, a lot of ways Freemasonry owes its origins, owes its start to England. By the way, once again, I do want to mention, if you want to join my Patreon, now is your chance to do it at a 10% discount. I'm doing well, Courtney. How are you doing? It's wonderful to have you join once again. That's the code to join. If you're on the Patreon, you get 10% off. Welcome back, Rosalie. It's wonderful to have you join once again. I hope you're doing well. I hope you'll please take a moment. If anybody watching this, hit the like and subscribe button. But how is it going? And as always, what, if anything, do you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry? Tomorrow is the actual Ask Us Anything stream. Oh, there's no worries. I say that to everybody. Every 5 minutes or so, I try to add a please join, please like and subscribe, because sometimes people will be watching but not in the chat, or they'll watch for a few minutes. So I want to make sure I do the reminder as often as I can. So I catch people. Yeah, if you're talking about the play, Courtney, it is absolutely going to be fun. I cannot wait to see it. Again, 43 Stages of Grieving, a comedy. It was supposed to be shown last month, but then they had to push it back. They had a cancellation, and so it's happening this month instead. So yeah. But I hope everybody is having a great day. Thank you all for joining. Powerpuff, let me know if you can, if you want to. What part of England are you from? Are you from London? Because they do have Freemasons Hall there, which is a beautiful Masonic building. Geez. Okay. So yeah, Freemasons Hall. I think if I recall correctly, it's called Freemasons Memorial Hall, is located in London. I forget the address, but it's a beautiful building. I would, based on the pictures I've seen and what I've people talked to people who've been there. So I always recommend, even if you're not interested in Freemasonry, if you're interested in history or if you're interested in architecture, um, you know, Masonic Masonic buildings are worth checking out. That includes the Windsor Masonic Temple, my home temple, as well as just Masonic temples around the world. So if you like architecture, like history, stuff worth checking out. Even if you're traveling, I mean, in terms of the most beautiful Masonic buildings, it would have to be, Philadelphia. I feel like I'd put at the top Philadelphia Masonic Temple, but there's a lot of them that are really beautiful. So, and worth checking out. Welcome, by the way, everybody who's just joining us. I hope you'll jump in the chat. I hope you'll say hello. Hope you'll let me know how you're doing on this Thursday. If your day is going well, and if there's anything you want to talk about, positive, negative, neutral, when it comes to Freemasonry. I do these streams every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, or I try to do it 1 p.m. Eastern. Today, my phone was not working well, so I had to switch over to my laptop. Good, Courtney. I'm glad. Do you have any plans for the weekend, for anybody watching this, for anything coming up on um, over the weekend? Like I said, I've got the Windsor Masonic Temple's plays happening today, which I can't wait for. As always, the first hour or so, really, it's just a matter of waiting to see who joins. In the second hour, we talk about specific topics, including today, maybe Freemasonry in Germany, because Germany's been in the news a little bit. It's been trending on Twitter for a few different reasons, maybe some not so good, but nonetheless, there's a really interesting history of Freemasonry in Germany. Certainly, I think there's obviously a darker patch of German history as relates to Freemasonry during the Second World War and the Holocaust, and Freemasons being put into concentration camps and Freemasonry being outlawed. But before that, and even after that, there's also a really strong history of Freemasonry in Germany. So might be worth exploring. Strict observance, says Rondo. And welcome everybody watching this. I hope everybody is doing well. And as always, having a great Thursday. My voice sounds a bit hoarse. It's because I spent the last night on stream from like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. But I got a lot of people join and a lot of new people come on the stream that I hadn't met before, which is really, really cool. So it makes me think there might be an audience for Square and Compass Promotions to, late at night. So maybe it's worth doing more of those late night, all night streams. Maybe I'll try one tonight after the show is finished at the Windsor Masonic Temple. Who knows? Could be a lot of fun. The only problem is you do end up with a hoarse voice. So there is that. The Trump tariffs looks like they were struck down. Our Prime Minister Mark Carney, said he welcomes the decision of the U.S. Court of International Trade to strike down the President Donald Trump's broad-based tariffs on most countries. On Wednesday, the court ruled that Trump does not have the authority to impose tariffs on nearly every country using the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, usually referred to by the acronym IEEPA. The decision blocked both the Liberation Day duties and fentanyl-related tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Addressing House of Commons Thursday morning, Carney said the decision is consistent with Canada's long-standing position that the U.S. tariffs were unlawful as well as unjustified. Carney added that Canada's trading relationship with the United States is profoundly and adversely threatened by unjustified tariffs on steel, aluminum, and the auto sector. It therefore remains the top priority of Canada's new government to establish a new economic security relationship with the United States to strengthen our collaboration with reliable trading partners and allies around the world, he said. The reason I bring that up is because, again, I've said it a million times. I know people probably get sick of me saying it, but I'll say it again. You cannot separate the success of a Masonic lodge or body from the success, economic and otherwise, of the communities in which it's located, right? Those tariffs would have, amongst other things, would have or could have, in my opinion, increased the cost of goods and services for both countries, could have resulted in brothers and Masons having to work more hours, work longer hours in order to, make the bills, pass the bills, or pay for things. It also could have meant that Masonic buildings that are need to purchase supplies, whatever they may be, whatever we may import, lumber, metal from other countries, especially from the States, obviously, those prices are going to go up and the cost of maintaining buildings could become more expensive. So it's one of those situations where we kind of have to pay attention to those things, in my opinion. But welcome, everybody. I hope everybody, as always, is having a great day, a great Thursday as we get ready for the weekend. Jump in the chat. Let me know how you're doing and if there's anything that you want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. And as always, if you're joining, if you are new, please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know what, if anything, you want to talk about. I hope you guys have checked out some of my last episodes as well. I just published an episode recently on the importance of mindfulness and meditation, and I just wrote a new Medium article also. By the way, Rondo, because you were talking about it, if I recall correctly, did you, I think it was yourself, did you ever check out the article I wrote on medium.com regarding AI and artificial intelligence? Or to anybody watching, did you hear what it, did you get a chance to check out that article? Looks like my chat's being kind of funny right now. You were talking about German Freemasonry, Order of Strict Observance. Well, the Order of Strict Observance Right? Isn't that the Trappists? Isn't that a Catholic group, a Catholic monastic group, if I recall correctly? Okay, so you've got it saved. So at least, so you were able to find it, because I was concerned you might not be able to find it. Strict observance. There are what's called strict observance lodges. There's a couple of them in Canada. In Ontario, where, to my knowledge, they don't even use light bulbs. They use light. They use candles still. So there's strict observance, but the order of strict observance, if I recall correctly, that's a Catholic monastic group, I think. I'm definitely, though, not a big fan of this, using the webcam. What I may do, honestly, is see if I can get my mobile phone to fix, and then try to do a stream later on tonight, or maybe I'll even do another 1 a.m. stream. Who knows? The last one went so well. It might be kind of fun to do another one. But thank you, everybody who has joined so far. I hope everybody is doing well. And once you get the chance to check out that stream, Rondo, or that article, Rondo, I hope that you will follow me on Medium as well. Let me just see. It's Proto-Scottish Rite degrees that was developed in Germany. I guess it might have been Prussia at that time. Really cool. I mean, I did not know that. So I'll have to study more about that. I had always, again, thought that that order was, again, a Catholic like Catholic monks, from what I understood. But again, this the fun thing about this is I learn as much about Freemasonry from doing this as hopefully I can be able to encourage others to think about, which is really, really fun. Probably one of the most interesting facts about Freemasonry in Germany is probably one of Germany's most favorite sons. If I recall correctly, Mozart was a Mason. If I recall correctly, maybe I got that wrong. Wait, no, was he? I want to double check this. Let me just see if I can find this. No, actually, he was Austrian. Sorry about that. He was born in Austria. But okay, here it is. He visited Berlin in 1789, Frankfurt, Mannheim, and other German cities in 1789 to 1791. He was fluent in his native Salzburg dialect of German. He was a Freemason for the last 7 years of his life as well. Welcome. If anybody is just joining, hope everybody is doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. If there's anything that you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I would love to hear them. Oh, so I guess, okay. Looks like the nationality of Wolfgang Amadeus Modus Wolf. It looks like um, the nationality of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is actually quite complex. I'm just looking it up now. I'd always understood he was German and was a German Freemason. So Mozart himself used the word German in this sense, and apparently felt a sense of national or ethnic pride in being German. The following passage from a letter to his father, Leopold, born in modern day Germany and seen as a German by both historic literature, attests to this. I believe I'm capable of bringing honor to any court, and if Germany, my beloved fatherland, of which I am a proud, of which, as you know, I am proud, will not take me up. Well, let France or England in God's name become the richer by another talented German, and that to the disgrace of the German nation. A series of similar recorded utterances from Mozart is given by Kirst. From this evidence, it is clear that Mozart considered himself to be German. However, the reasons just given, the relevant sense is necessarily a linguistic or cultural one, there being no nation state of Germany in which Mozart could have been a citizen. Rosalie asserts that Mozart was born into a part of Europe where nationality in the modern sense did not exist. He was German because he felt and described himself to be German, and because the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation that included Salzburg was labeled as and felt to be German. So I guess what I will say is, for our purposes, one of Germany's native sons, and one of Germany's most special native sons, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, was in fact a Freemason from Germany, or was in fact German, and in fact joined a Masonic lodge in Germany. So that's pretty cool also. So please take a moment, if you get the chance, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're just joining us, I hope everybody is doing well. I mean, Prussia, I guess Prussia is what you call it. Because I guess when he was born, Germany as a nation state did not act, or when he was alive, Germany as a nation state, as we would understand it, did not exist. But certainly there was an idea of Germany, and people understood what Germany was. So there's a whole Wikipedia article about it. It's funny, Amadeus Mozart, he's one of those cats too who, most people think of Freemasonry as like a lifelong pursuit, which it is. But Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart didn't join Freemasonry until, like, he was a Mason for the final 7 years of his life, which is really interesting. That's a much more rare thing. I mean, it happens, but it's much more rare than otherwise. He joined a Viennese lodge, I can't pronounce that to save my life. Zurwhohlta. I'm going to just do this. That was his that was his lodge. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce that. So he was a Freemason for the last 7 years of his life. He was initiated December 14th, 1784, promoted to fellow craft January 7th, 1785. So relatively quick. I mean, that doesn't happen that much nowadays. And Master Mason shortly thereafter. His letters and compositions demonstrated that Freemasonry played a significant role in his life. I may actually be able to find some of those letters. I'm just going to see if I can find. Interesting enough, though, Mozart was also apparently a devout Catholic, which, again, at that time, the church had already made some claims against Freemasonry, but the Humanum Genus Genimus papal encyclopedia, papal encyclic, which definitely was that was the work from Pope Leo XIII that most set the table as to the Catholic view of Freemasonry. That wouldn't be published for approximately another 100 years or so, give or take. So there was not quite the same level, I think, of Catholic antipathy towards Freemasonry when Mozart joined as there would be after Mozart passed away. What's interesting is Mozart was one of the few. It happens, normally in Freemasonry, what you see is the son, the father is a Mason, and then the son follows in his father's footsteps. But sometimes that is the opposite. Sometimes you see a situation where the son joins first, and then the father joins afterward, and that was the case with Mozart. In that case, the son joined first, and then the father, Leopold, joined after the fact, which is another interesting little piece of Masonic trivia. I have seen that happen. It's not the first time, but I mean, maybe in 1784 it was. Who knows? What's a really interesting thing about that as well is, and a really cool thing as well is, thank you so much. I always thought when it comes to Freemasonry, there's this famous jewel. It's called the Lewis jewel. It's like a thing that you wear, which you wear if you had a dad who was a Freemason, right? But you only get the Lewis jewel if your dad was already a Mason when you joined. There's no jewel for a situation where, the son joins first and the father joins second. They don't get a Lewis jewel, and I feel like there should be something to mark that. Maybe even something that the father gets to wear, where he says, like, I joined because my son was a Mason. You know, and also it's not for in-laws, right? So if you have a son, if you have a father is a Mason, so if you have you have a dad who's a Mason, he's got a daughter, and then somebody marries his daughter. A lot of times, the father-in-law will then ask the son-in-law to join. There's no Lewis jewel for that. For different reasons, if you're already a Mason, you should not be dating or marrying the daughter of a fellow Mason, although it happens all the time, I'm sure. But there are many times where a son marries into a Masonic family, or where a man marries into a Masonic family, and then the father-in-law invites the son-in-law to join the Masonic Lodge. And there is no jewel for that either, to my knowledge, but I feel like there should be. I feel like both the idea of a father following this in the footsteps of his son should be recognized somehow, and I feel like a son-in-law joining to be closer to his father-in-law should also be recognized somehow. So that's just my opinion for whatever it's worth. Might be worth doing a poll question about that. Do you think that should take place? See what people have to say. But welcome. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you will, if you get the chance, please take a moment, hit that like button. I do not. I really should get one at some point. I never got around to doing it, though. But, I suppose it's on my list of things I want to get to at some point. I'd be eligible for one. I just never put in for it. But my dad's been on the stream a bunch, so. I will probably be ending. Oh, nice. How was the luncheon? I hope it went well for you. You enjoyed talking to everybody? It was a lot of fun. Actually, maybe what I'll even do is do a live stream from the Windsor Masonic Temple tonight, just for a few minutes, pointing out, the play that's happening and how excited I am for the play and all that good stuff. I was saying, Dad, and I don't know what you think of this because you're in the same boat as me. There's a Lewis jewel, which is for, again, if you joined Freemasonry and your father was already a Mason. But there's no jewel for those occasions where the opposite takes place. The son joins first and then the father joins second, which was the case of Mozart. An interesting side note: Mozart joined Freemasonry and then his father joined after him. So there's no jewel to recognize that. There's also no jewel in the case of, somebody marries into a Masonic family. They marry someone, and their father was a Mason, and then the son-in-law joins Freemasonry after, they become an in-law, as a way to be closer to the father. So there's no like jewels for those two circumstances, and I feel like there should be. I feel like that would be, cool thing to have. But what do I know? Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing. If there's anything that you want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry, any thoughts you have. I was thinking about talking about Freemasonry in Germany a little bit, but that then brought us on to talking about, one of Germany's favorite sons. If you consider him German, it's debatable, but he considered himself to be German anyways. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Welcome, ECO Cypher. I hope that you are doing well also. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. Welcome, Courtney. He was famous for all of those things. So that was really, really cool also. No, focus on that. Focus on your health. Focus on your hearing aids. Focus on your doctor stuff. That is the most important stuff for sure. So that's no worries at all. But yeah, I hope you are doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know how you're doing. We will do this for another probably maybe just till 2:30 today or 3 Eastern time, because then, like I said, I might I'll head to the Masonic Temple at some point. Maybe I'll do a live stream from there talking about the play that's happening, which is going to be absolutely awesome, I am sure. But it seems, Dad, like your hearing aids are working well based on what you were saying and what I had heard. So keep up the good work. And tell your doctor to keep up the good work as well. And always do what you're told. I always say, and I still believe this, you tell the doctor doesn't tell you. Which I truly believe, by the way. No, that would be, thank you, Courtney. I enjoyed showing off my Detroit River view. By the way, they have every July fireworks that I have a really great view of. So I'm going to do a watch party fireworks thing with you guys, where I'm actually going to show those off. No, 2:33 Eastern Standard Time. Right now, my time is 2:10. So. But yeah, it's a really cool view. And so yeah, if you guys like fireworks and you want to hang out and have some fun, we're going to do a live stream of the fireworks. Once again, I'm not quite sure. I forget the date now. It's usually July 3rd, because right between, because you have, July 1st is Canada Day, July 4th is America. So, Independence Day. So we might do the combination stream. So we do a combination of fireworks here in Windsor, where Windsor and Detroit celebrate. They go together and they do this giant fireworks celebration display. And I am lucky because where I live, you have absolutely beautiful, beautiful views and beautiful shots of it, which is a lot of fun. And so I like to share those with people. I've done it the last couple of years, but I'll do it this year again for sure. And anybody can jump on and hang out with me as we celebrate the fireworks. I hope everybody, though, is doing well. Oh, by the way, it's also community votes in Windsor 2025. If you're in Windsor and you're watching this, vote for Temple Balloons, vote for Windsor Masonic Temple, vote for Scar and Compass Promotions. I would truly appreciate it. Oh, so this is what Rondo was talking about. The right of strict observance arose in Germany in the middle of the 18th century, introducing the concept of higher degrees in Freemasonry. The founder, Karl Gotthelf von Hund, claimed to have been initiated at the higher degrees by Scottish Jacobites who guarded the secrets of the Knights Templar. He alleged that he was charged with reviving the Templar order in Germany. With the failure of the Jacobite Revolution in 1745, he lost touch with his Jacobite masters. In 1764, seeking to reestablish this link, he intentionally unmasked a fraud, calling himself George Frederick Johnson. The lodges that Johnson had deceived placed themselves under von Hund, and strict observance was born, rapidly becoming the predominant form of Masonry in Germany. After von Hund died in 1776, the prince elected to succeed him. The three globes withdrew from the strict observance for political reasons. On July 16, 1782, strict observance came together one last time at the Covenant of Wilmsbane. In 50 days, they dismissed the legend. Strict observance ceased to exist. I mean, I will say, so that order, strict observance, may have ceased to exist, but strict observance as a concept actually does still exist in many lodges. There's many lodges that are now forming what is called strict observance lodges, which is where they basically, it's a focus on ritual and it's a focus on symbolism. There's one in Toronto in Canada. They don't even use electricity. They'll use like candles for all of their both meetings as well as for their like the lights and stuff, right? And candlelight in the lodges. They're expected to be very somber, very quiet. It's tuxedos all the time, no business suits even. So that's a really the idea of what is strict observance. And there is actually a strict observance Catholic order within Germany as well. But I hope everybody is doing well. Please, if you get the chance, take a moment. If you're just joining us, hit that like and subscribe button. The first lodge the first German Mason was apparently Albert Wolfgang Count of Schaumburg in 1729. But not when he was in Germany, in fact, or it would be Germany, when he was in England. And so he joined the Premier Grand Lodge of England. In 1733, 11 German gentlemen in London were admitted to Freemasonry and received permission to found a lodge in Hamburg. But there's no evidence anything came of that. A really good source is Robert Freak Gould, who wrote a lot of great books on history of Freemasonry, particularly Freemasonry in Europe. It was December 6, 1737, the Grand Master and deputies of the Kingdom of Prussia and the Electorate of Brandenburg-Hamburg founded a lodge. The first German lodge was called Loge de Hamburg, but did not belong to any Grand Lodge. Its second master went to London in 1743 and registered it as Lodge number 108, returning with the title Provincial Grand Master. What's interesting is I've talked about this a lot in the past. No new merch, but new discounts. So there is discounts. I do hope you guys will take advantage of those discounts and join the Patreon, even at the $3 a month level, which now is $270 a month. So, what's interesting about Freemasonry, I talked about this in the past. There's kind of three ways Freemasonry spread through the world. The first was with military garrisons and military soldiers, as, for example, London or British soldiers traveled the world. They would often bring with them Masonic lodges and set those Masonic lodges up on bases. That was, early in the British expansionist period, British Empire, but that was also, you even saw that, in 2025 with Masonic lodges existing on military bases, especially in the Middle East. Sometimes the only Freemason you can find in certain Middle Eastern countries is that which is practiced on military bases and military lodges. Like, for example, I understand in Qatar. The second way was through economic expansion. You have colonies being formed, businesses going over there, trade going over there. Many of these businessmen or traders were themselves Freemasons and would set up lodges in these new colonies. You saw that in Hong Kong and Macau, for example, with Portugal and Britain. There was a combination of military and economic. You see that with the expanding railway lines. As in America, settlers travel from east to west. They bring with them Freemasonry. The gold rush brought with it Freemasonry in California. But also, and this is relevant to Germany, the third way you see Freemasonry expand throughout the world was through travel and visitation, and in some cases, education. So young men, especially, but not exclusively, but young men may travel from, let's say, Germany to England, in more modern times, the Middle East to England to United States. They'll travel to be part of the school. They'll travel for university education, and while they're there, they'll be introduced to fraternal ideas, fraternities, including Freemasonry. They'll join while they're on their studies, while they're on even a vacation sometimes, if the vacation is long enough, which has happened. And then when they return to their home country, they bring Freemasonry back with them. And it looks like that's what happened in Germany, where the first German Masons were traveling out of country. It looks like for a combination of education and work, and became Freemasons as a consequence of that travel, in this case, to London, to England, and then brought Freemasonry with them back the other way. So if that makes any sense. And that's another fascinating thing about Freemasonry in Germany. And like I said, the other fascinating thing I would say, again, is the fact that Freemasonry in Germany, one of the favorite sons of Freemasonry, Wolfgang Mozart was himself a Mason. And actually, he was one of the few who joined first and then had his father join after him, which is a cool little fact as well. But I hope everybody is doing well. Please take a moment, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to be doing this for another few minutes, but then I'm probably going to be switching off. I may, again, because it was such a well-attended live stream, do another live stream tonight at or this morning even at 1 a.m. because I got so many people joining and it was wonderful to get a lot of new people coming on the stream that I had not seen before. So maybe I will do that once again. So if anybody like me is a night owl, maybe you can join me at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But thank you, everybody who has joined thus far. All right, what I'm going to do, I think we'll go another 10 minutes. Don't forget, you're running out of time. If you want to become a Patreon member, till June 1st, you get 10% off the Patreon membership levels. So by all means, I hope you guys will consider joining into those. You get to support us in our efforts to promote the ways in which Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it is located. So I 100% hope you join that. And thank you, everybody who has joined so far, all the Patreon supporters. It is truly, truly appreciated. Also, I hope you check out my new writings I've done on Medium, response to the speech from the throne. So there's a lot of stuff I've got going on that's awesome to see. But thank you guys so much for being here once again. Courtney, it's great to have you back. Thank you, as always, for joining. And by the way, I'm one like away from 10 likes. If you get the chance, hit that like button one more time. If you haven't done so yet, so get me to double-digit likes. One away. One away. But I do hope everybody is going to have a great day. Check me out tonight. Maybe I'm going to probably do 2 streams. One from the Windsor Masonic Temple, where I'll be talking about the upcoming play, and then one at a later time as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much, everybody who's joined. And thank you to everybody who's part of the stream yesterday. If you do have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you have any questions about Freemasonry in Germany. I'll try my best to answer them. I don't know everything by any means. I learned something new today about the Order of Strict Observance, so that was really cool. There's regular Grand Lodges. There's also mixed lodges as well. I've talked before about Freemasonry in concentration camps. Interestingly enough, there was, I guess tragically enough, but also very impressively enough, there was even a Masonic a lodge that formed in a concentration camp, which I've talked about in the past, which was, I think, whenever anybody complains that they don't have the time or the energy for Freemasonry, it's like, they were Masons who were able to start these things in concentration camps. So if they can do it there, I think we can all do it. Spirit, show is almost over. I'm going to go till 2:30 on this show, but I'll probably do another stream tonight, another couple of streams tonight. So I hope that you guys will check those out as well. But unless anybody else jumps in the chat next 5 minutes, I think I will call this stream for the day. I hope you did find some of the information interesting, particularly information around one of our most favorite and most influential Masons, Mozart. But thank you guys all for being here. I truly, truly do appreciate it. As always, ways to support this channel, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share some of these streams, share some videos, and let me know if there's anything that you guys, any topics you guys want to see covered. Support on Patreon, support on Medium, all that good stuff. And maybe if you guys want to stay up late with me, you absolutely can. Yeah, the States don't tend not to have dress codes the way they do in Canada, or emulation ritual more in general. I do know there are some that do. I wouldn't say that completely, right? And oftentimes it's more of a lodge bylaw issue where the lodges will, in their bylaws, set up rules, but it won't be mandated by the Grand Lodge. Whereas here in Ontario, it is absolutely mandated by the Grand Lodge. There is a dress code. You can ask for dispensation to have like special events and stuff like that, but where you have like casual dress days or Hawaiian shirt days or whatever it might be. So you absolutely have those things as well. But as a rule, it's more often than not, it's like I said, emulation is more dress code in the Constitution, whereas I find in York and Preston, it's a little bit more loose. With the exception of the worshipful master needing to wear a hat. That's I guess, a type of dress code that's very specific to Preston Webb Masonry. To my knowledge, there's no example of emulation ritual in which, anytime the worshipful master wears a hat. I could be wrong. If anybody's ever seen it, let me know, but I've never seen it nor heard of it. I've seen it plenty of times in the States, but not in Canada, so. Welcome. If you're just joining us, I'm probably going to be ending this show in a second, unless somebody jumps in the chat and has any questions or comments. I do these streams every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. I was talking today about Freemasonry in Germany a little bit, more particularly Freemasonry and Mozart, who was a German, Austrian, Prussian composer, who was a Freemason for the last 7 years of his life. He's an interesting case because, for example, he's one of the few instances where it was a son who joined Freemasonry first, followed by his father. He was a devout Catholic, but he did join at a time when the Catholic Church had already expressed its disapproval of Freemasonry, but not to this extent it would in later years. Certainly under Pope Leo XIII with his, papal work, which was kind of the foundation on which modern, Catholic opposition to Freemasonry exists. Does emulation go beyond third degree? It does not, to my knowledge. After that, it's Scottish Rite or York Rite. But to my knowledge, there's no. Well, I mean, I suppose what you could say is installation rituals, which I guess isn't beyond a third degree. But when you are becoming a worshipful master of the lodge, there's a installation ritual, which is not beyond a third degree, but it is, unique. And then you could also it is a unique degree. It's not even a degree, you wouldn't call it, but it's a ceremony or ritual that is part of an emulation lodge, and emulation has a specific type of ritual for installations, which are different than, again, you see in Preston Webb, and you see in like Prince Hall, for example. And also you could argue things like the funeral rituals, the funeral ceremonies. Those are also unique, and different in different jurisdictions. But that's a type of emulation ritual in Ontario. So it's not so much that it goes beyond the third degree, but rather that there are different and other rituals outside of the third degree that are part of emulation. And also you have those with York as well, right? With Preston Webb as well, and even the Scottish Rite. ECO cipher. Sorry, ECO. I think I missed what you said before that. All I see is lodges with a star. The chat may not be picking up everything. My internet has been acting funny, or this. I tried to do a stream earlier today and it was being very funky. So I hope you'll be so kind, if you are just joining, as always, to take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. But I think, and Spirit, I hope I answered your question. I think I'm going to end this stream for now, but you can expect me to be back on tonight, talking about what's happening at the Windsor Masonic Temple, and maybe even tonight late at night. So that should be a lot of fun as well. So thank you, everybody who has joined, and I hope to see everybody again soon.